fire into Kellen and Moham.
I think if you are a D+ fan, though, you're probably hoping we're not going to be making any more last-minute swaps here at the end of the season, and that D+ have solidified that this is what they want to do in playoffs. I think there's a time and a place for Kellen, but right now they have decided that Moham's voice is more valuable, and Kellen's somewhat inconsistent performances were enough to push them over the edge and pull Moham up, as we see an Ezreal ban for aiming. And on blue side, nonetheless, as well as an Aurora blue side ban here. So
what's next? A Maokai blue side ban?
Or a Rumble blue side ban?
Uh-oh. Please no.
D+ are like, wait, what do you guys, we don't have anything left to ban. No, I mean, the Ezreal ban obviously is warranted for aiming. We know Samber,
oh.
What actually happened in real life?
Giga Chad. I feel like Vi was the ban, and then you're just threatening Rumble, and you force the ban, and then you get not Renekton, because it's already banned. I mean, you get a strong.
You could have gotten Aurora that you didn't ban also because you're on blue side. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ezreal ban is fine, but the other ones are eyebrow raisers. As D+ are like, what's left here? Is Yone ban maybe for Fate? Senna, okay.
And now, I mean, you kind of have to pick Vi, right?
I think so. Unless you're just going to go for Fate's Corki.
Whatever.
I wonder if Showmaker will just play Lucian here, or if he's got something else in mind. Again,
Zeri Vi.
Show less.
Lock it. But he's the Showmaker, Wolf. He can't show less.
That's true.
It's literally his name. He makes the show.
I hear that, you know, people used to say no more, right? But apparently the kids now are saying say less. In this case, I'm saying show less. I mean, this is fine. It's a strong pick. You put Lucian on Lee Sin. No one's going to be like, oh, I see D+ have some strats prepared, playing two of the most iconic picks here. And you can go for the Lee Sin when you lock the LeBlanc. You can also go for Vi, which was left open. I forgot that one wasn't banned because they didn't ban it. They didn't lock it.
That's why I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
Like, the LeBlanc as well, a very common ban against DK, even from the red side. But they just said, you know what? Play whatever you want.
Well, I feel like Showmaker is aiming for POG early on this one.
Aiming, you say?
Well, we'll see what aiming does lock in, as there's still a lot available for him.
He's going to lock in Zeri.
He certainly could lock it in, like, right here. Especially because they're going to go ahead and show the MF. It wouldn't be shocking to me if we saw Leona here instead, however, just because it's so strong in the Misfortune. But
I like
Zeri
that, but
seems probably like what he's going to do.
Aiming might not like that. Jhin has been a very common pick into MF.
Yes, he does hover that.
He said Zeri.
I think he said Zeri. I think we know he's going to pick Zeri.
He said it twice.
Yeah.
He's playing Zeri. It's just the way it's going to go.
But Showmaker has to hover Syndra. That's part of his trademark. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Effort not hover Nasus? Come on.
That's true, yeah. And then Morgan actually picked it. Remember that?
It's just part of the iconic D+ Kia. Showmaker, their franchise player. Okay, well, let's see what gets banned here, because obviously what you lose is that Leona pick, as Bro should ban it. Rel is obviously going to be what the Misfortune plays with most commonly, because it's just so easy to set up combos. So that one's gone. Should be traded for Leona.
Leona.
It's okay. You can ban Recon too, but you do need to ban the Leona, I would say. It's also pretty good into Lilia. Vi is also pretty good into Lilia.
Yeah.
So I do have concerns if they don't ban it, but I'm sure they will, Valdez.
Surely they are just waiting, you know. The bros always like to keep it intense, you know, exciting, maybe down to the last wire.
Kennen ban? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's one of those pretty blindable top picks here that you feel good about. Maybe Morgan will end up with a Gnar instead in this case. Cassante, I feel like, is a huge mistake with the Gnar available. If they ban Gnar instead of Leona, then maybe he could pick Cassante if it's not taken from him, which it very likely would be. Just ban Leona, it's easy. Paulo's like, nah, I got you. We lock that Leona ban. Or, with Rel banned, they ban the Alistar instead. But if they ban that, then he can't become Muhammad Ali. So there you go. Denied.
Denied the Muhammad Ali. Wow. He's really paying attention to Ghost jokes.
What do you know?
You know, Wolf, sometimes I'm really astounded by your fantastic analysis. This time, I'm not, because it
seemed pretty obvious.
We saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Bros, they're just going to play their game, okay? That's focused on their game. They just want to go with what's been working in practice, let's say that.
There's the Gnar I was talking about for Morgan. So that part seemed pretty obvious, and they'll at least lock that one in and make the wise choice there. What is Palu playing? Okay, so this is a Leona counter. It's still not going to stop Leona from solar flaring you during bullet time, but that makes me feel better about it, because they were like, oh, they're obviously going to pick it. I have this prepared. So that makes me feel, like...
Yeah, there was some
plan. There was a plan.
Yeah.
There was a plan,
Sure. It's better than having no plan and then being like, ooh, oops, there's Leona.
So the GP here is a somewhat common response to the Gnar these days, especially with Kennen banned. So nice counter pick here to give Kingen in the top lane. This comp scales pretty well because you have GP and Zeri, and Showmaker, if you're in an even game state or behind, sometimes it can be tricky to get value out of LeBlanc, especially if you can't take the mid turret down. This is a Showmaker Majai's champion, though, where he often just gets the Soul Stealer because he gets a lot of kills early and takes over the game. So you're going to have to mitigate some of that. I do think in terms of team fights, there's a lot of good setup here. You have the Sleep from the Lilia. You have the Keeper's Verdict to win the numbers game. Managing Gnar bars can be tricky, but if you have it in the right place and you can set up for that bullet time, sure, this pro draft feels like it comes together. But there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of problems on the other side that you will have to deal with. But he is the face. If you Google Pro Leaver, this guy comes out, man. Like I'm pretty sure
he's there. Yeah, that's actually the face. On the global side, we have the Giga Chad, obviously. On the Korean side, we've got this guy. Well, not this guy, but the guy before. This is the D plus Kia fan who was there in the Dom1 gaming days. Yeah, showing off all the tickets and the jacket.
He's got like the 2019 or 2020 Dom1 jersey, it looks like there. He's an old school fan. He's got all the tickets, and he's here to watch his team get third place. We'll see if they can do it. This draft looks pretty tough to deal with for Bro.
Yeah, Exodia on the side of D plus Kia. Let's see how it goes in game number 1. Well, here we go. Game number 1. We're sitting on the DK side of the arena. Lots of fans coming down for DK to try to secure their third place spot for playoffs here in summer. And they're in a really good spot to do so. I would say, based on this matchup and based on this draft in game 1, probably gonna get it done. But we'll have to wait and see how the series does play out.
Yeah. No Electrocute. Showmaker went Ignite. So, I told you it's a Majai's game.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't go Majai's last time when I was casting with Atlas when he had the LeBlanc. He wasn't able to get enough kills. I was very sad about it. But this time he'll do it for me, right?
Yeah.
He'll give us the show.
He will.
He is the Showmaker.
And then he's going to draw Fate as a Starfish.
He will do it on his stream later, but he will metaphorically do it in-game.
Yeah.
He has done it 32 times, Valdez.
Yes.
Fate was a real person once, but otherwise 32 Starfishes.
Yeah.
But you know what Starfishes do? They regenerate.
They do, yeah. They always come back, and that's kind of what Fate did. Right?
I think, also, not to cut across you, but just to protect myself, I think the plural of Starfish is just Starfish.
I think you're right, yeah.
Anyways, go on. Oh, go on. I don't know, Valdez.
The plural of fish is fish, right? Not fishies.
Yeah.
I wish it were fishies, though. That would be a lot cuter.
I mean, I think you can say fishes when you're referring to different types of fish, right? Like, if you say, like, oh, there are multiple types of fishes, like bass.
No, you would say there are multiple types of fish.
But right? You can say both in that case. But if there were, like, a school of fish, right? You don't say a school of fishes. I think.
No, yeah, you don't. I don't.
I mean, I think you
so.
can say fishes for other types of fish, though.
You know, they say don't do math on stream, but they never said don't do grammar on stream.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we're in the clear. We can do whatever we want, actually.
I can be wrong. It's not like I speak for a living.
We don't have a lot of opportunity to talk about fishes. Nami's not really in the meta at the moment as well.
And she's also a mermaid, so only part fish.
Yeah.
Certainly not multiple fish.
That's true. Palu's level 2.
He's coming up.
Now, this is LeBlanc, so, I mean, this is still worthwhile.
Valuable, yeah.
You're going to push Showmaker back. You're going to give Fate a little bit of room. You're going to give him a good back and make this lane a little bit more bearable.
Yeah, it's going to give him the free bag that you mentioned. See how much gold he has here, 320. He can purchase anything relevant. Just going to grab the tier, which is what I expected. Okay, he gets the refillable in as well. So that ends up being a pretty nice back for him. We'll stave off some of that electrocute pressure. As the Dark Seal is in the inventory. That's the first that's the first part of the recipe for the Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah. Didn't used to be that way, but it is nowadays. And you can build up those stacks early on. We do see that, you know, we saw this actually in the first series of the day, where we had Home Life Esports with their support, with their jungle, hanging around mid, just putting on a lot of pressure, trying to make life for closers Yone really difficult in that case. And we're seeing a bit of that pressure in this game as well.
Showmaker just going to keep this wave close to his turret. Play respectfully for now. Wanted to, with this Ignite, have some extra pressure as Lucid shows up.
Not even going to have to flash for this one, but Fate does just kind of run away. The issue with this is that Fate TP'd into lane, and now he's chunked out.
And he's kind of frozen as well. Like, the lane is not in a state where he can actually go up there and try to get that farm right now. Is Kingen could be in trouble.
Nah. Yeah. Definitely a nice amount of harass, but Kingen knows he's safe, and he'll be able to TP back when he wants to.
Fate has that refillable, is actually not forced to back here, but he's not happy, I'll tell you that. But Palu is just kind of his bodyguard right now. I was aiming him on even in the bottom lane. Hyper proc close by there. Good laning phase here for Morgan so far into this GP, up 10 CS.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good for him. Sheen picked up by Kingen, who's going to TP back up to that lane. Palu is able to roam a lot just because the MF pretty self-sustainable, especially into the two of them, as long as she doesn't get caught out too much. Moham also roaming a bit. Kingen comes back, and he's totally fine, but down 9 CS.
Yeah, wasn't able to stop the back of Morgan there, but won't be too impactful. Lucid is getting closer to level 6, and he can make a much larger impact. Obviously, Young J 3-6, really tough for him to get much done unless there's like a dive coming through or something like that. Showmaker does not have TP. There's just a little bit of farm here. But once the Vi hits 6, the impact that he's already made will kind of start to, you know, balloon if he gets some gank opportunities, as he is looking for Morgan right now.
Yeah, bit of pressure, but that's Meganar, and he's going to go in onto Lucid, who is just going to be taken down. Lucid not respecting the Meganar, goes in, gets punished. Palu comes up as well, and that's going to be first blood for the Giga Chats.
I mean, this is a great start for Bro, to be totally honest. I mean, Fate was under a lot of pressure, but wasn't forced to flash. Ends up maintaining CS parity with Showmaker. Top side, the Gnar is winning the matchup, gets the Mega. They bait him. Speaking of baiting,
yeah, Palu just going to go in there. They threw the bowling ball in, and they said, well, they're probably not in that brush. But they were, and Palu died. So DK were able to trade a kill back pretty early on here.
Still 3 grubs, though, and a bit of Scuttle Gold going over. Level 6 gets hit for Young J here. Lucid will have his shortly. But that's a lot of gold into Bro's pockets here. Gold stays even. The kill did go over to Palu as well on the top side, so not as great as it could have been had it been Morgan. There's another opportunity here. Young J with level 6 now. It's Palu though, not Young J who's coming over. So never mind.
Yeah. Poppy, in this case, kind of just looking at the enemies, not able to do too much.
Sometimes she chucks a buckler.
Yeah. That is what you would do with a buckler, rather than like throwing it or
like
keeping it. You know, you would chuck it. Right?
Yeah, or like holding it up to defend yourself. Forget that. That's not what shields are for. You throw them at people.
Yeah. No, you chuck them. Right.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't throw them. You chuck them.
Yes.
That's the way it is for Palu. That's his life. We haven't really seen Moham find too much success outside of the kill onto Palu, but this is how this all started.
Yeah, so Morgan has his Gnar set, and Lucid just kind of goes in on him anyways. The Hyper Brock comes through. This is actually super well played by Morgan. Then he just flashes for the Gnar into the wall. And then Kingen, of course, nothing more he can do in this situation. Avoids the house at least. Cannon barrages to no avail. And then there's no vision in the Banana Brush. So what do? Bowling ball misses, so they clearly wouldn't. They're not there, right?
Bowling ball cleared it out. They're diving mid as Fate's in a lot of trouble. He is ticking down, and down he will go to Showmaker, who already has 4 stacks and is dancing his clone in front of Young Jan Palu. Lucid, meanwhile, not having the most fun time in the early game. He does not have flash, and there is a Poppy on him, but no steadfast presence. The bowling ball is going to miss. There goes the buckler, chucked into Lucid. And in goes Palu, but he can't quite get the kill. Moham, though, might have to pay for it. Does flash away. And a very long chase, but everybody gets away.
Yeah, it looks like that will remain the case, although aiming is caught here. But they're not going to commit the sleep onto him, so he is just going to be able to slide away. It's very, very difficult to lock down, but that does mean Samver should be able to get some plate gold here in this bottom lane, as well as deny some additional farm. So it's not going to give him a CS lead, but it does feel nice. I believe he did pick up said plate. Don't think that was picked up earlier, so some solo plate gold to the MF. Feeling pretty good. Gold still even. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic?
I wouldn't put myself up there in the upper echelon of bro-leavers within the global talent here at the LCK. And in this case, no, I'm not a bro-leaver, unfortunately. We have a lot of them, though. They do exist. There are dozens of them in the Twitch chat as we speak. So that's good. They've got their bro-leavers just in case.
Yeah, maybe the bro-leavers can count off in the chat to see exactly how many we have. I'm
yeah.
Sure they can go from 1 to the maximum amount of dozens that you could have, which could be thousands, really, if you really start to add it up.
Absolutely.
This is how this pick happened. Lucid over the wall, flashes to get into ult range. Showmaker goes in. Ignite is just enough damage. That'll be his 2nd kill. And his 3rd and 4th stacks of Dark Seal, like you pointed out. Lucid with the long escape that, yeah, thankfully we won't be showing all of on screen here. And then this play, nice clear out of the minions here by Samver. So we are going to have the whole...
Yeah, I'm like, how far does the replay go?
I thought maybe something more interesting happened with Samver clearing the minions, but no, he ulted them and then Lucid walked away.
Yeah. And
That's
then he
okay.
didn't have it later because it was on cooldown.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're brewing. I got a peppermint tea.
You got a peppermint tea?
Yeah.
I'm just brewing with water again. I haven't been a very exciting brew with the bro kind of guy nowadays.
Counter to Leona.
Yep. It does do that. Unfortunately, Samver not having a great time here. Almost even killed underneath his own turret. Probably just going to flash away as he doesn't have steadfast presence. He doesn't have his W for the LeBlanc, so he's like, well, I just got to get away from him. He's too strong.
Lucid's going to get this Dragon, which is going to be some additional stats here for Showmaker.
Hextech Soul.
Ooh, Hextech Soul plus the Infernal to Showmaker with the Luden's Companion he already has. Kingen is just going to be like, all right, well, I still have a health bar.
Yeah. Lord Morgan
try.
Keeping it together in the top lane. Very far ahead.
Yeah, he's the only one who actually has really a semblance of an advantage here. He is as ahead as aiming is in the bottom lane, so that kind of neutralizes, right? Hey, look, if you look at the difference here, he's actually 300 to 400 ahead of the advantage that that aiming has. So good on you, Morgan's got a lot of plate gold. Went demolish.
Yeah.
To demolish said plates.
He's been doing great. I do feel like if this were solo queue, Kingen would already be soft inting with Lucid going top and just dying to the enemy top laner, but that's fine. That was, you know, set up very well by Morgan, and he made the play. The Lord is on top once again, and he's not giving the GP a very fun time. A lot of fighting over this banana brush, even though the Drake just went down.
True. Showmaker wants that ward gold, and he's gonna have it.
Yes, he needs more gold, honestly.
He does need more gold. Have enough. We were kind of on track for the Magi Soul Stealer. Still think it's viable, but he's not ahead enough. Fate is still significantly behind, but Showmaker got value out of his Ignite once. We'll see if he can do it again, as Bro still relatively even on gold, only 800 down at this point in time. Their composition doesn't scale as well, but does have a lot of compositional win cons in team fights. How could he know there was an alcove there?
Yeah. We've seen some fun alcove gaming recently. Sneaky Kennen hiding there to get XP. We saw just yesterday. But this time they're just backing next to each other. Very friendly. And yeah, generally Showmaker does get the Luden's gun into the Soul Stealer, as Moham's just kind of out here trying to ward, and he might die. As over the wall comes the Meganar, the wall up will hit him as well as the house, and that is just a very straight up kill onto Moham.
Yeah, Morgan is in trouble now, however. I think he should be okay. He has Flash.
Yeah, also Lucid is not going to be getting in there. The team is still trying to chase on this one, but Lucid was just clearing a ward after he missed his vault over the wall.
Unfortunately, Morgan's not forced to flash, and I mean, that's another kill going over to Bro here, who will also pick up this Rift Herald.
All right, Palu gonna knock 2 away, and the rest of the team is pretty committed to this one. Moham's already through the gate. Palu pretty low, as Moham will go down, but it's another kill that does go over to Moham, actually, but another stack into the hands of Showmaker. But the Rift Herald was taken down by the side of Bro. Did they get the eye? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think they were unable to secure that one. I think D+ forcing them away, just no secure on that one. Going to be pretty squishy on this Lilia, so denied on the eye, you know, like with a denied with E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also said viable before.
I know.
I didn't want to say anything, but, you know, with a What was that? What did I just see?
All right.
You're dead.
I'm a Bro lever now, Valdez.
Look at him.
I've seen it all. I've seen missed vaults over the wall. I've seen some flashes to then get hit by the continuously rolling ball at the same trajectory. As said ball, I feel like I've seen everything now. I've seen Morgan crushing Kingen in the lane when Kingen had counter pick. I mean, GP doesn't default win, but has been doing pretty well recently, as Moham has had a bit of a rough one. No vision here, is completely caught out. Morgan's able to crush over the wall, and over here...
Okay, they're trying to kill first mate Fate, and he will be going down. Another kill into the hands of Showmaker, as that is the one thing that hasn't really changed, right? Aiming's been getting gold, he's the gold king. Showmaker is putting on a show on the LeBlanc, and even though the rest of the map is on fire, it doesn't quite matter, does it?
No. He is, maybe the Luden's companion is a water gun in this analogy. You can put the fires out.
Yeah.
We'll see how that kind of started off, because we went into it a little bit late there, but definitely just a numbers advantage for D+ on the bottom side of the map. We're going back to this one.
Oh, no.
어때? 아파볼래?
Let's go
what do you think? Let's go for it.
나왔어? 나 궁 털긴 했는데.
He doesn't comment on the flash.
Well, Moham's dead again, by the way.
Yeah.
We do have a Hextech Drake that now is going to go into the hands of Bro. I do feel like a lot of DK/Showmaker teams really struggle when they are the big favorite, because things just get a little bit too messy.
They really do. And again, Bro have taken this team out many times. They took them out to go to playoffs. I think it was in 2022 summer. And big upset when they played against them in playoffs, and unfortunately for them did not win said playoffs match, but it was a very cool rematch. Bro Still 1,000 gold behind here nearly, but getting some big wins across the board. And this Gnar is going to be actually, potentially even a side lane threat here if Showmaker has to be in the other lane. Because when he's in this lane, like, he can handle Morgan. The GP, not so much. Not at this point, maybe later on. So I think everyone's too scared to go into replay now because we missed the 2 things from the replays. But, like, will we do some replay analysis? Okay, here we are. Hex Flash into...
So it's actually Lucid who baits him in.
Yeah. But also left the Leona because we got the counter. That's right, Poppy into Leona. Actually, you know what? Edgar was big brained the second time.
Get countered.
Yeah. It's pretty good for objective control. It's good into Vi. It's good into Leona.
Good into LeBlanc.
Good into LeBlanc. Not,
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
when she goes in, rather than when she goes out, which is just a... What is that, actually? Just a relocation? I don't even think it's a blink, right?
It's a dash.
No, not when she goes in, when she goes out.
Oh, when she goes out, yeah, it's just a teleport, I think.
Yeah. And that is where the big red stripe is. As we've said many times, Showmaker very much doing well in this first game. They did give him LeBlanc for free, but he hasn't had a lot of, generally it's LeBlanc Vi, it's the duo, the mid jungle, but we haven't really seen much of that outside of the one dive.
Yeah, it's been mostly just Vi trying to impact other lanes and being relatively unsuccessful, and Showmaker doing a lot of things on his own. And they did have that dive bottom side that for some reason we never really got a second look at, but either way, just a numbers advantage like we were discussing earlier down there. Showmaker is under threat here, but he is LeBlanc and has his ultimate, so I don't think they can really catch him. Well, not a 4th time.
Not again! This time, Lucid will go in, and Palu is, well, he's level 6. The rest of the team just left him to die, and now the TP comes in for Mini Gnar. There's no Drake here or anything, so we're just fighting between the 2 supports. Just posturing, I guess.
Yeah, Kingen is just chilling in the top lane, doesn't care. He's going to get some additional alone time with said lane. Clears away for free. And Lucid will not be caught. Lack of vision there for Bro, and they knew Showmaker was nearby. See if Morgan can do something here. He has half a Gnar bar, but doesn't get the slow.
Yeah, good defensive barrels from Kingen. Disengage barrels.
You just hate everything that allows people to disengage, don't you?
If it's a player's good play, I actually applaud it. But if it's just on the map randomly and only used for disengage 95% of the time, generally not a fan. As Morgan is going to be forced to flash, actually gets hit by the engage barrel this time. As aiming is going in, he really wants to get this one down, but now he's just going to be slept, as will the GP. Here comes Lucid again, but this is looking good for the Bros as the ult comes down. Kingen is on the run, and Lucid is just being ticked down here by Youngjae, who is super fast. We got a TP coming in as well. Fate looking to collect up on the top side, and these 2 are just pretty much dead. Down will go Kingen, and down will go Lucid.
Showmaker's just not here. Doesn't commit a TP to the play. They don't match. That will be Bro expending some big tools, but absolutely worth it. They can start Baron at 21 minutes now. Showmaker is not in position. Bomb is relatively nearby, but alone can't get anything done. These death timers are just too long. I think this one is just straight up gone. There's the TP from Showmaker. Let's see if he can carry this one. 2v5.
Oh, he's almost got aiming with him as well. Palu gonna charge away from the chains, and here comes aiming. That's 1 kill, and everybody's up against the wall. They're all going down. The Baron is going to be secured by first mate Fate, but that's all he's gonna be able to do. As nice blast going to get away from that one. Youngjae going in, but he's being chased down by the Zeri. Very fast here is the Lilia, but eventually does just get chased down. So many kills are collected by DK by the end of it all.
Yeah, 4 now for Showmaker, 4 for the Zeri. And I'm gonna have to say it's a near certification on that play. I think it's a little bit too late in the game to certify it as a Zeri moment. We're gonna go all the way back to this play here onto Morgan, which ended up baiting D+ pretty deep. A teleport does come through. In live though, Moham going in.
I guess we're just killing Palu once again, as he is in a really rough spot here. The only question is who's going to get the kill. It's going to be King after the flash. Here comes Showmaker. Once more stacks. He already has 10, so he's going to need to build a Magi's if he actually wants to stack something from here.
Yeah, he has a broken arm guard in his inventory, so he might have his eyes on the Zonias, but Showmaker, let's keep the fans entertained. Not the disengaged hourglass about
The
this.
show begin.
Morgan and crew are here. He's got a Narbar. This looks like soul point for Bro, and they will take it. D+ not able to actually come over here for a contest, too low on the health bars. Everybody regrouping from that last exchange, and now Kingen forced away. Baron power play still in the negatives, but they're going to siege up this mid turret.
Yeah, they should be able to get this mid-tier 1, especially because Showmaker is really just embracing the side lane LeBlanc and only going when they really need it.
Yeah, have you noticed Showmaker's kind of showing up like Gandalf at the end of Two Towers, like where he's just like, team fight's happening, allow me to show up and clean it up. In this case, he does kind of show up first with Moham, as Aiming does have Hex Gates, which is something you kind of pointed out how quickly he was able to join this fight, because I thought this was looking pretty doomed. Showmaker gets zoned out here, but Aiming, big extendo beam, gets over the wall, picks up that first kill. Moham is stunning people down, and Fate is just barely able to secure this one, and Hexgate out is over here.
Uh-oh, Palu once again, just free food, gonna be taken down. That's the 6th death on the Poppy. They just keep finding him, and he's like, no, it's fine, I got Keeper's Verdict, I've got, you know, Steadfast Presence, I'm Poppy.
Half of the deaths across both teams are the supports. It's not been their greatest day. It was Moham who was getting picked a lot early. Now it's more on the Palu side. As these teams are ruthless. I mean, it's a pick comp for D+, so it does make sense that if you do get caught and you don't have Steadfast Presence, or you only have one Steadfast Presence, that you will get picked a lot in this game. But all you need to group up a little bit more with his squad is now just catching minions here.
He's farming.
He's farming bottom lane Poppy support without Senna. He's up 1 CS over Mom, so he's got that in the stats department.
Winning. That's good.
This game doesn't warrant serious discussion.
No.
And he did build the Zonia as Showmaker, so the next logical step
is the Magi's.
Yes, not a Cosmic Drive or anything, no Void Staff. You know, he's not going to build
How about a Death Cap?
No, I don't know. That's what you build after the Magi's. Magi's more flashy. The Death Cap is so expensive. In today's economy, I mean, look, Showmaker's not made of money, okay, Valdez?
True, yeah. I think you should go Magi's as well. The sleep is going to come down onto him and Lucid. Moham's just kind of here. He's like, hey, guys, I thought we were fighting. And chasing down Showmaker is Young Jay. Showmaker goes back in, goes into the Zonias, but he is absolutely dead. 900 gold picked up by the jungler of Bro. Meanwhile, Kingen was just kind of pushing, didn't drop a cannon barrage, didn't bother to. And that's going to be the wave clear coming out once again. Samber very good at doing exactly that.
Yeah, I don't know if the cannon barrage would have really saved Showmaker there. Well-timed W coming out from Young Jay as the Zonias expires, and it will take him out there. So shutdown goes through. Magi's stocks going down as well. So over here, Fate. Let's see if he's actually going to get caught, playing relatively respectfully, but wants that cannon. And yeah, that's the end of that story. Let's go back to this topside play. So Showmaker fishing here for a pick doesn't actually connect the chain. So the second one was going to connect here onto Young Jay, but he actually gets pushed away. It slept and then W'd and goes under the turret here. Young Jay is like, wow, you went back in on this.
And just he had to dodge the bowling ball, but like you pointed it out, like the mimic chains that come out is like, well, now you're dead. As Kingen, he's got his cannon barrage now, but man, Young Jay's doing insane amounts of damage right now. Kingen, very nice flash, by the way. Very showy in that one, able to get away from Morgan. Meanwhile, his team able to pick up tier 1 and mid.
So Bro keep getting kills, right? I mean, the kill score is close. The problem is Aiming is almost on 4 items. He's not dying. Showmaker did die 1 time. But I don't know if it's going to happen the second. And these two champions have a lot of money. The carries on the side of Bro a little bit low eco at the moment. And that is what I'm most concerned about here for Bro. Even though they've kept the kill score even, it makes it look like this is a very tight game. It's closer than you might expect. It's still a 2,000 gold lead here for D+, and where that money is on 2 carries. The GP significantly behind, but I don't know what Gnar is necessarily going to be able to do to make up for the interim, because Kingen will eventually also be a very late game carry here. So they need to win some fights now. Like winning this soul fight, that is absolutely the way you could take this game into your hands as Bro.
Well, the poke that's coming out from this comp now that the GP is, it's not really online, but he's got a couple of items, and even just that coupled with Showmaker might just be enough to push them away before the fight even begins.
Just keep getting that barrel poke like you say. Morgan has his Gnar set.
Oh, even the poke from the Extendo Beam, as now that barrel will be denied, but Palu once again in a really rough spot. Lucid also on the flank here.
And Morgan doesn't have his Gnar anymore. This is super frustrating for Breon here, as Aiming's just starting this one up.
Oh, we got Showmaker on the flank. He's outside of the bush. He's just going to show himself to Fate, who does take an insane amount of damage. There goes Kingen flying, as it might just be a straight-up flip, as Youngtae not going to get it. Lucid does pick it up, and immediately Youngtae dies. Showmaker gets in the backline. It's 3 kills for DK just like that, plus the Dragon.
Yeah, that's the denial of the soul that they needed. I think if D+ end up giving that soul over, this composition for Bro has so much more in the tank, but it ends up going over to Lucid. Not a controlled fight there. Baron comes up, and it will be taken here by D+. Morgan doesn't have the ability to, I think, alone contest. They know this is likely going on, but they're just a little bit too slow on the rotation. They don't have vision, and Showmaker is lurking.
Oh, Palu, no, not again. Oh, okay, that steadfast presence lasts for a bit longer than Showmaker was expecting.
And he is celestially opposed to dying, so that will definitely hold on to a little bit more survival from him. As look at Lucid's angle here. He was flanking for a really long time, and as Bro lose control of the neutral, he's also in a position where he can't be Keeper's verdicted out because they don't know exactly where he is. Just comes over here and wins the smite fight. Then Moham re-engages. Once Samver is down, the fight is done. And I mean, Bro just don't have the tools without Gnar to set up and win these fights. There were a flanking 5 plus a flanking Showmaker on this LeBlanc. So frustrating to deal with.
Yeah. Don't forget Moham. Sitting in the banana brush.
Yeah.
Always a threat. They're like, hey, we can't really enter that brush. We really need to get presence there, but they just couldn't because it was Moham and Aiming just there the whole time, as Showmaker just going to be maybe 100 to 0'd here as he hops back, and he's not hopping anywhere else. Down he will be taken as, you know, Showmaker will play with his food. He always will.
Yeah, it might be selling the Dark Seal for a death cap.
It's just so expensive, Wolf. In this economy,
I mean, you know, we are getting, like, Showmaker's probably like, you know, look, I'm going to get a raise of a few inner turrets across the team. I've got some extra eco. I'm not getting that many kills right now, but I suppose when you do think about the long-term investment of the percentage-based ability power of the death cap, I mean, it is a solid investment. You can convince Syndra that, like, the purchase is reasonable here. He's got that Showmaker look of, I done goofed a little bit on his face right now.
Yep.
As we'll watch this again. You mentioned it, steadfast presence on the initial part of the distortion is kind of a problem. And in this case, if you just go face first into it, you do end up getting punished. So Morgan will have to flash afterwards, but still a nice pick. Shutdown gold, I believe, was secured there. And it's still D+'s game to lose. But, I mean, there are some convincing arguments for Bro when Showmaker's playing like that.
Yeah.
They pay no attention to the Gold King in the bottom of your screen. Totally winnable.
Absolutely. There is definitely no Flame Horizon in this game. Do not look at the CS.
No.
Yep. Hide it. Good.
Yeah. Item value is relative. It's relative. It's relative. You know, who needs swords? She doesn't even use a sword. She's a champion with finger guns and stuff. Yeah. Look at that. That's not a sword she's using.
Yeah. Also, it's not Aurora, so you don't just get to press R and be useful. I mean, even as MF in this game.
So let's think of the ways in which Bro can win.
Okay.
There's a dragon fight upcoming in 70 seconds. Perhaps Showmaker goes in again like that, gets picked. Or Moham is caught or tries to go in onto a Poppy. He dies. Kingen gets caught with a sleep.
I think what's going to happen is Showmaker's going to try to... He's going to try to aggressively poke into Meganar. And Morgan is going to ult him into Palu, who is then going to knock him into the wall. And then he's going to get slept by Youngjae. And then by that time, he's probably dead. So then Bro can win from there.
So let's see if Bro are going to group for Dragon also. Let's see if they show up. You know, they say half of life is showing up.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's relatively true of securing dragons as well. If you show up, it's not a 50-50 necessarily, but at least you have the chance of taking that fight. They are on soul points, so they can give this one over to D+, and perhaps they think that this MF is going to be stronger later. And that is somewhat true.
Yeah, you know, generally as the players, they all get global gold, it's called, right? You tick in a little bit of gold along the way. Even if you're not farming, everybody will be stronger later on.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's not full build. And if he's able to just survive long enough to get more money, he will.
Hey, so Moham's here for some reason. Kingen is also going to get ulted as he throws down the cannon barrage. This is a very messy fight, but now aiming just going to be ulted away. And Showmaker TP'd into this one. I'm like, yeah, let's bring it.
This is somewhat in between both of our theories about how D+ can lose this game.
Yeah, okay.
You know, Kingen gets caught there. Moham a bit out of his depth there, let's say, a bit too far forward. It wasn't the greatest sleep from Youngjae, but hey, made D+ feel like maybe they could keep going a little bit deeper. Morgan catches Kingen. That's one step of many that they will need to take, but it's a small victory here. LDR done here for the side of Samber in the bottom lane. As the sleep comes down only onto Moham, so like, all right, focus this guy down. Morgan's like, no, look over here. I've got a better target. Let's take out the GP. Moham actually will survive. As a result of it, Showmaker comes over here and will have to promptly leave. Used his teleport, so also losing the TP there. So it's a trade of teleports.
If aiming flash the Keeper's Verdict, I think 3 of them die.
Probably. He is full build, by the way. He doesn't get stronger.
Yeah, instead he just, well, he could build a Zephyr.
True.
I've seen him do that before. You know, instead of doing the flash play and maybe taking down an objective or something, there was no Baron at that time. He saves it for the Baron fight and says, you know what, there's a better time to use it.
I mean, it's 100% aiming POG if D+ win. As just the most honorable member of D+, who didn't make any mistakes this game.
Kingen is really trying to barrel his way into the lead, but it's not really working out for him.
He got the Meganar activation, you know, by standing near Morgan, and then now it's gone. Well played.
Oh, a 3-man sleep, and it's Zonya's, and it's only Youngjae. They almost got Moham though. That was okay. Good effort, Palu.
That was almost like that famous international tournament sleep that happened around the same part of the map, where there wasn't any follow-up. This one less egregious, but still not ideal. That's a big ultimate down for this next objective fight, but they're winning the health bar trade until that.
Yeah.
Now they're not.
That's the thing. The poke in the late game from LeBlanc and GP is just so hard to deal with. And even though this game has been an absolute just, I don't even know what to call it, a circus of sorts. And
Clown Fiesta.
Yeah, that's a good one. We should use that from now on.
It's a pretty good term.
Definitely never heard that before.
Yeah, no, like we haven't used it in a while because it hasn't always been fitting, but I think this is the game.
Yeah. And even though it is, you could just do that and then take Baron instead.
Yeah. No IE for Kingen in this game. He's just going a little bit more safety. Consider how much he's been bullied. I think the shield bow makes sense. We'll eventually get that LDR. And that's going to be the big spike that
you think
looking for. Do we finish it, though?
Do you think aiming will double Flame Horizon? That's the question I have for you.
Nah, I don't think there's enough game left for it. But
they are Bro and Brewing, though.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, we're going to 7 Elemental Drakes. And that's in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
He's backed, so
So if DK...
He binds Zephyr.
DK, they
Yes.
use the rest of their Baron to go for the Drake, and they lose the flip. But they don't lose the game, so the game continues. Samberg keeps getting denied CS, and Aiming gets more. But the game extends for another 10, 12 minutes because they have to go to Elder.
Does Aiming take Wolves when he's full build?
Yes. He built the Zephyr.
Yep, he did. And he took Wolves anyways.
He needs Elixir
he
Gold.
needed the lifesteal as well, you know?
Yeah,
a little bit of
I guess.
lifesteal.
What he really needs is to double flame Horizon Samberg. As we take a look at the core item purchases that we've had in this one. Showmaker has agreed that he will be part of the poke war.
Look at the flank here from Lucid while Kingen is ending the game. There's not a whole lot of options here for Bro. They need to be decisive, or else they're going to just lose this one. Kingen's going to TP, or rather, be TP'd on. Morgan comes down.
Yeah, that's Meganar. 30 seconds before the dragon spawns. And there's one ward near the dragon. And that's about it for Bro.
It's gone now.
Yes. I didn't want to mention it.
But there was one there. And now we just have to send it, Valdez.
Yeah.
Put the stamp on it, write the address. No return address. We are sending it. We're putting it right in the mailbox. And I think, Bro, you cannot give Hextech Soul to this LeBlanc composition that has a full build Zeri on it, but they're just going to send it to the top lane. That's where they put the address in.
Giga Chad, give Hextech Soul. It's fine. No, they're going very late game. I can see the angles. And the angle is slightly towards the top lane and then backing.
Yeah, Galileo's telescope of old is nothing on what Valdez is looking through right now to see the angles. He's got a microscope attached to it. It's got an infrared scanner. It's got one of those like siphon filters
I can also
on it.
see the future with it, actually.
Yes.
It does have, we do have the technology.
So Aiming, he doesn't really need to farm anymore. I believe he's probably got an elixir purchased after this back. And we'll see if he still wants to double Flame Horizon for...
He is the Gold King, so he deserves all the gold.
It does look like he's on track to potentially pick up the last one of the season.
Yeah, that was my understanding. He receives the gold. As they're going to ult first mate Fate, and he's just dead. So, nice little pick. You know, that's I think that's like the second time we've seen Vi and LeBlanc put their abilities together. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Alongside of the GP.
All right, D+, eyes on the prize.
They've been really focused in this game, but now they've been the most focused.
Let's see them take out that inhibitor and see if they can collapse Showmaker on the flank.
Boham is he's being bullied by Morgan. He's just going to throw a Solar Flare into him and walk away. Morgan level 18 to Boham's 12. Boham's still very low on levels.
Eclipse is pretty crazy. Celestial opposition. And they're wearing down, Bro, but they will not be defeated just yet. They are farming it up.
One of the best base defenses I have ever seen.
Well, one of the greatest of all time, Valdez. The immaculate clearing of minions with this Leandries on the Lilia.
Amazing.
It is just something else, isn't it? Oh, I thought it was going to be a replay of the wave clear. That would be a replay of Fate dying, which you would think would have been enough for them to potentially end the game, but their comp is somewhat pick-based, and they can get the kill, but then we'll need to line those up, and without that ultimate, maybe not be able to get a second kill or push the issue further. Let the minions do the job for now. 1 minute until this Baron spawns. And Bro are just brewing in the base.
Yes.
They sent it to the top lane earlier, but it turns out they've got one more stamp, and maybe it's going to be sent on the Elder.
One more package to send.
Yeah, and Corky's package was removed, but Bro still have theirs.
Yeah. And, you know, based on the way this game has gone, I think DK are going to give them a chance at it. I think we will have an Elder fight. Aiming needs more golds. So, you know, so only so much time left up for Aiming to get more golds. And he's not going to extend beam anyone there.
Is that the whole purpose of this game going this long, is just to make sure Aiming gets it no matter what?
Yes.
I didn't really think about it that way directly until now, but I'm like, you know what? If you wanted to, like, this would be how you'd play it out. Yeah, you wouldn't follow up here where you don't have vision. You wouldn't go in deep. You know, you might accidentally wipe the team with a full build Zeri. He is going to swap items. GA, wise choice.
What do you sell? Shiv?
Yes.
I guess?
I think it was, yeah. So he's making use of his gold. He's only 49 CS away from the double flame horizon.
Yeah. And, you know, that's just on the horizon. We do see Lucid going in. The old flash, and down will go Samber. He didn't exist before, but now he really doesn't exist. Youngjae also going to have to flash away. And, well, DK, they finally agree. We're going to stop playing with our food. Aiming, flashing on top of the enemy team. And they will eventually just clean up the rest of Bro. Bro, a immaculate defense. Just beautiful stuff from them. But at the end of the day, DK just too powerful. And Aiming will do 8,000 damage and not die a single time in the game and pick up the POG and the Gold King this week. Congratulations, as DK will take down the Nexus for game number 1.
Damage to champions, a big fat goose egg under Samber on that last fight. I think that really says it all. D+, playing with their food a lot in this one. I feel like this is not going to be one of the games that the coaching staff is going to be pointing to for anyone who's voting for Moham for playoffs. Probably will be looking at some of the other series we've seen from D+ leading up until this moment. However, they get it done in the end. It was a fast and loose draft. They had the LeBlanc, Vi composition with Ignite LeBlanc for Showmaker. He got ahead early, was shut down twice, but ultimately still had a pretty huge impact in the game. And for Bro, honestly, I thought the game would have ended a lot earlier, but a great game from Morgan. And Youngjae did kind of come online, come into his own later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Youngjae's Lilia, jokes aside, was actually quite strong. But it just wasn't enough to get across the line. See a big difference in damage from the jungle, but it's not what Vi is there for. And eventually, Lucid did figure that out as well. He's like, oh yeah, I could just ult people. And eventually the team came around together to do exactly that. So DK takes them a while, but they do take down the Nexus in game number 1. We're going to take a break and have the space to break down that wonderful first game, and we'll be right back.
오케이. 야, 나 이제
이번에 갖고 와, 나 이번에 갖고 와. 야, 볼래?
레오나 나.
리포. 야, 릴리야. 갈만해 하라며?
갈만해. 커피 노공.
가도 되고. 할게.
나 가위 빼자.
나 몸 됐어.
코르키. 잡았어.
야, 나를.
The least. The draft didn't really matter as much as we thought it would. I think when it comes down to how the game actually turned out, the Ezreal part is fine. Aurora Rumble,
Not fine.
maybe let D+ ban those champions. And then ban Showmaker's oh, that's not a LeBlanc. Or, oh man, even Youngjae is upset that they banned the Aurora.
Same bans for DK, not a big surprise. I think you're very happy with the way the draft panned out in game 1, so why would you change anything? And there's the Rumble ban on blue again.
All right, well, let's see what this final ban is going to be. It'd be funny if they just ban Poppy or something.
Maybe. I mean, they banned Senna last time. I feel like that's kind of a ban that you could change.
It's just so puzzling that like D+ are left in this situation. They could ban Ashe. I feel like that makes sense here. They will ban Senna again. It's just a very unusual set of bans from Bro. So you're like, why? They banned all the things we're supposed to ban. So I guess we'll ban Senna. Corki first pick again.
Yeah, I could have said the same thing I said in game 1, which is you have to pick the Vi here, right?
Yeah,
but I knew they were going to pick Corki, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, and then LeBlanc Vi could be picked up here for D+ again. And we could just run it back and maybe have a cleaner game in the second variation. Or take the Lilia away.
I don't really see the point in this other than if Lucid wants practice on Lilia.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just a scrim for D+ at this point.
I mean, Youngjae was very good on the Lilia, so it's a denial pick, 100%. But Youngjae could just play Vi. Vi and Corki isn't really the greatest mid jungle, but it's still a strong pick, and maybe you can work with the top lane or the bot lane.
Zeri is going to remain the same. Looks like Showmaker might be looking for a Lucian pick or something like that here in the mid lane, as Viego is going to come through here. Not a lot of great synergy. They're much better with this Cannon pick that's being shown for Morgan that he will lock in. And in response, we could still see GP, could see Gnar, could see Nasus. Probably not going to see Nasus in the top lane, but it would be fun. Morgan is the only one who's tried that in this matchup.
I wouldn't put it past DK to do that just for fun. There's a lot of talking from Kingin, and outside of the flash and getting behind in the lane, I think his CP was good. Like, he knew how to play it very aggressively in the late game once he got to a place where he had items.
Yeah, the barrel placement and the chip damage, his ultimates were in team fights very good. First half of the game, if you just ignore that part, it does seem like a very valuable pick, and that's kind of how GP goes. Usually it's not that far behind in the early game, but definitely much more relevant in the late game. So the parts of the game that are very relevant for GP, Kingin was hitting those boxes. The Poppy will be banned this time, unironically. So that's a good choice to make. And we'll see the Leona ban this time. They're learning.
Yeah. Especially if they're planning on picking MF.
Which I think they will.
It's an opportunity for DK if they really wanted to say, hey, Samber, what else can you play? You could just chuck a MF ban, just like you chucked the Buckler in game 1.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty wise ban considering the Leona's already out, but they'll take the Jhin away again.
They're going to play it themselves. Never mind. There is a Zeri in the game. Zeri could be mid, though.
Yeah, it could be mid.
And then maybe you just pick up the MF.
I mean, it does seem like a good angle here. Can really keep the draft fluid because you are on red side here as D+. See what this ban is going to be. Showmaker still hasn't tipped his hand just yet. He could still just end up playing Draven or Lucian into this Corki pick in the mid lane.
Yeah.
LeBlanc is also still open, not as strong with Lilia, of course, but he's going to keep it a secret.
Yeah, and with the Alistar ban again, they just say, well, we'll just pick the Rel. I mean, you took away Leona, so if Alistar is off the cards, we don't get Muhammad Ali like Ghost wanted from the crowd with his really clever sign.
Yeah.
But we will get Morellian Amakan. Sorry.
It's okay.
But Moham's Rel.
All right.
Varus is going to be coming out here.
Varus Nautilus, the classic. Strong into Zeri, unless that gets flexed in the mid right now, and we have a Smolder bot lane. Or, what's more likely, is the Smolder is going mid for Showmaker, and we have two incredibly strong scaling AD solo laners. As Rel with the Smolder is not very inspiring. It's okay, just play Cassid and Showmaker. It's fine, man. We all know you want to do it. Oh, right, the Samirel.
Smearl!
The classic.
Yeah.
It's an old aiming favorite. We saw him play it a bit back in the old days. And into the Varus, the wind wall or wind spin is very strong. Can be decent in a Corki as well, but it's more about the ultimate and the Wombo combo potential with the Rel. Lilia can help set it up. Showmaker's going to be playing Zeri into Corki, which initially seemed like it was a pretty risky pick when we were looking at some of the first players who were picking it up, like Bulldog. But it's actually looking more like a winning matchup these days as more and more mid laners have practiced this pick and know how to just push the wave into Corki and not interact with him during Gatling Gun and just clear those waves out and make it very difficult for him to actually punish you or damage you, especially with the nerf to Corki's health. Does feel better.
This fan wants the games to go on for a very long time and potentially go for the 2-1 in favor of Bro, but that's not what the DK fans signed up for, especially when their players said, we'll give you a 2-0 by the end of the season. Certainly expecting it to be this one, but who knows? Maybe OK Savings Bank Breon have happened upon the correct draft this time.
Definitely looking a little bit better this time around. Showmaker on Zeri, aiming, pulling out the Samira. A little bit of happy gaming potentially again for D+.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of smiles on their side at the top of the rip for game 2. And here we go, game number 2 on the way, and already Bro are heading up towards the top lane with their Varus and their Nautilus and their Corki and their Cannon. Everybody getting in on the action.
Kingen doesn't know about anything but the Cannon. Morgan shows they're not going to commit any further, and we'll be heading back towards the bottom lane. I think D+ have an idea that this is happening. See them come over here and check out the red buff, drop a ward. Mom's going to back just to keep the flexibility of where he's going to go and cancel the back if they get information. Doesn't get it yet. I'm just going to walk down to the bottom lane. Kingen playing very respectfully back in the brush behind turret. As we'll see ward scan. Will actually unfortunately miss the ward that Moham set up below the red buff. And they'll head back to lane. Both junglers going to be pathing bottom. I mean, this is not the most prolific draft that we have seen in the LCK, but it is exciting to see Varus attempt it again. Varus Nautilus, an old favorite, an old Challengers special. We saw the little on-hit Varus with Nautilus a lot in Challengers last year.
Yeah, Bull was he was a big fan.
He certainly was.
To say the least. And it's very strong, but you know, when we see new stuff, we see new iterations as well. And I think with the Rel coming in, the opportunity showed itself for aiming to go ahead and pick up the Samira, which we haven't seen in a long time. But yeah, it's been exactly 371 days since we've seen Samira, and it was Guma in a loss to aiming. Actually.
On Varus. So
on Varus.
Now aiming is, you remember
in
that.
playoffs.
It was definitely a telltale aiming. We'll remember this. And now he's going to show you how to beat the Varus as the Samira on the other side. To prove that it wasn't a bad matchup, but actually, he's like, I can do what Guma cannot.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Jury's still out on that one, as a hook will connect.
That was a very nice hook, actually. Hits aiming, who was, for the most part, standing behind Moham. And Samira very early on can't really trade at all with the Varus, who is just going to have better trading patterns and even higher range. So you just kind of sit back, especially because you have Rel. And it's not a lane that inspires a lot of confidence in terms of, you know, winning and pushing and getting ahead in that sense, but definitely very powerful in its own right.
Varus has been changed a lot, and his passive's been kind of nerfed and then slightly buffed. His attack damage also tweaked, and then the tweak is removed, and it feels like we're going back and forth like bunker build time on this champ. But the big thing is he doesn't have lethal tempo anymore, so you know, with lethality Varus being a little bit weaker, and you know, the lethal tempo being gone, Halo Blade's feeling like it's in an awkward state for him right now. I do feel like that makes it feel like a less solved champion as it keeps getting changed nonstop, and there's so many other picks in the meta right now that are so strong, so relevant, and have a clear defined role, like Ezreal, Zeri, in terms of their scaling. Varus' role isn't as defined, so it's a little bit tougher to pick him in drafts consistently. Saw Guma attempt this yesterday. I'll be seeing Samber doing it with Press the Attack here as well in this second game. Morgan?
I mean, he's definitely getting in there. If that Shuriken hits, there is a world where he could put pressure and maybe even look for the kill, but Kingen does dodge it and will back now. He will respect, even with Lucid up on the top side of the map. Just going to go for a safe back, look for a buy, and try not to die.
Yep. Should be able to catch all of these minions. This lane is still going pretty well. Early back for Samber allows him to get the steel tip bow. A nice little pickup here early on in the lane for some additional damage. The faster you can get an item like that, the more value you're going to get out of that extra on-hit damage. Another good hook.
Yeah, another one comes through. Palu, he's angry after game one. He's like, you saw me, I had to play the Poppy with Electrocute. Now I will come back reborn as a Nautilus.
Just like bro have to finish strong, he had to play Poppy with Electrocute.
He had no choice. It was the only way.
-1 ranged minion here for Fate, but will hit his level 6. Is having a pretty good lane so far into Showmaker's Zeri. We've often seen the Zeri, like I said before, really win this matchup pretty convincingly. Now Showmaker has level 6. Not really at the angle for an all-in just yet, with Fate having full health off the TP. But maybe if he gets some assistance from Lucid. Tough to do anything as Lilia pre-6 though, especially in a matchup like this where you don't have any setup. Nice dodge of the Phosphorus Bomb.
I feel like Lilia's pre-6, if they're going to do anything, it's going to be like a top dive. I think we saw Canyon do it, right? Or was it against Genji? Maybe Pyosik was doing it, playing the Lilia, just diving top, getting damage in. Speaking of which, Lucid is top, as that's going to be the flash already utilized by Morgan, and he just knows he's pretty much dead. He's going to try to go into the alcove, but yeah, he will get the stun down onto Lilia, but it's still going to be a kill. First blood does go over to Lucid. Here comes Palu and Youngjae, flash on in, but now it's a 3v2. Do they have the damage as well, as Fade is going to come on up, but not quite enough to get it done. And now Showmaker is going to join. A big Zeri ultimate onto 3, and he's got a long lane up here as well. The stun going to miss. And do they have the damage to get on this one? As the Rel goes in, Moham going to set this up, and down will go Palu as well. It's a double kill for Showmaker Zeri.
Yep, pretty happy to certify that one at 650. You know, the earlier the kills come through early for a Zeri, then the better your chances are of really snowballing this pick, especially into a champion like the Corki when it's not in the bottom 2v2, a lot more agency. Less CC to worry about. In the case of the Corki, basically no CC to worry about. Morgan flashes here to try to get out of the cannon barrage, but it's still slowed. And I think that's a big problem here for his ability to actually live long enough for the rest of his team to come up when he sets up the stuns. If he was able to maybe go down there with Moham not coming up, like if Moham wasn't here, maybe he could set something up for Palu and Youngjae. And yeah, you have a Nautilus into the Zeri, but he doesn't have ult. And Showmaker is just like, oh, a skirmish for my Zeri, level 6, some bounce damage. Yeah, never underestimate early Zeri's power. Moham also plays this so well after the hook comes through. And that's 2 kills for D+ in this early game out of a desperate attempt to turn a gank there for from Lucid into a positive spin, let's say.
Yeah, I think just trying to be a little bit too proactive, and it kind of caught them. I think that they should have known that Showmaker would follow up to the top side, and we always talk about this, but when skirmishes get a bit risky, Zeri will always come out on top, as Moham, in a bit of trouble, is going to get hit by the combo of the Varus and the Nautilus, as finally Youngjae will press his ult button and take down Moham. A little while for him to do that, but gets the job done regardless. And so a kill is traded over to Bro.
Yeah, pretty successful. Good to get that onto the Viego. Feels really nice with how well he can also start to become a carry jungler in these types of scenarios. Bit of a mistake there, the side of Moham playing that far forward, but just didn't expect the group. Taking a look at Showmaker laning here, but it's Moham clearing a ward. Youngjae's coming over. They don't have vision of the Viego. It's just chain CC. I mean, it's pretty simple. Paulo hits the hook. Samber hits the chains of corruption. Youngjae is able to heartbreak or break his heart. Man, I had a huge opportunity there. Totally dropped the ball. I broke his heart, yeah.
I thought it was perfect, yeah.
Kingan's having a tough time again, alone.
Yeah. It's just GP things. You know, he's behind on CS, but he's probably at least even in gold or somewhat close. He's eating an orange. He's eating some damage from the range minions to keep it close to the turret.
He's putting it below 0 degrees Celsius by freezing the lane.
Yeah.
Right here in front of his turret. And he's got a refillable. He has oranges. Just eat that minion damage, put that wave right where he wants it, which is right here in front of his turret. So it's more difficult for Morgan to actually get any further advantage. There's a nice barrel chain. Looked like maybe he was going to drop that one for a second, but does hit it.
Yeah. He hit a couple of barrels. I mean, GP's always in this weird state in his lanes where it could be going really rough, and then all of a sudden you hit a couple of barrels and a Q, and all of a sudden you're in control, right? So it kind of just comes down to how well you can line up your skill shots and will your opponent deny them. Generally a pretty fun lane actually to play, I'd say.
Yeah, GP loves his Sheen back as well. Once he has that, he's a lot more relevant. Youngjae is surfing this bottom lane. Again, will be seen by this control ward. Lucid is also here. That should be the end of any aggression. At least be able to clear this vision out. And Palu does hit level 6. So some respect does need to be shown here for the Nautilus ultimate. Unfortunately, with Corki behind the 8-ball in the mid lane, it should be the faster group here, 4D+. They really want to set a trap. It's very proactive, but I think also very much a pipe dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they really want to make a case to take down this Chemtech Drake, but I just don't see it. But perhaps they see something that we don't. Palu going up top. They have a TP coming in. They want to fight for this big time as Lucid nearby. He will get the smite down, but the follow-up with a 3-man knockup comes in, and the cannon over the top. That's 2 kills over to the side of Bro. And they do collapse in and kind of even up the gold here.
Yeah. Going to be a TP top here from Fade as well, since the teleport was committed by Morgan to set up for the Slicing Maelstrom.
Well, it's just a free kill. Aiming wanted it. Got stolen by Showmaker, who now has 3 kills.
Yeah. You know, I think it's pretty good for either of them to get it, but considering that the Zeri is the scaling pick in this situation, I mean, I guess you could make an argument for, well, he already had 2 kills. He's already going to be relatively freely scaling. Maybe the Samira, who's a little bit more relevant in the early mid, should have had that one. But I think either way, you're pretty happy to grab a kill on a backing support. And Morgan, with that teleport flank, I think that was the thing that Morgan and Bro knew that we didn't know about fighting over that dragon. A lot of contests around the jungle right now, so I'm not sure if we're about to jump in that replay or not to discuss how the fight did play out, but it's really Paulo and Morgan who use their ults together to win that fight. Here we go. So Paulo on the flank here does rejoin as the teleport comes through, and Fate's also coming through as they're trying to tunnel to get the dragon. Now, they are successful at securing said dragon, but it means that Lucid is just way too far forward here. The Slicing Maelstrom is also going to cut Moham off. But unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a greedy back on the edge of this ward. And aiming's like, hold the phone.
Skip it. Don't show it.
That's right. It was a Bro win. Nothing else to see here.
Bro came out on top at the end of the day. And, I mean, I like that. That's better than just kind of sitting back and, you know, just trading dragons, as a lot of teams will do. Bro trying to fight for more, trying to really utilize their teamfight comp with the cannon, especially in the resets from the Viego. We've seen this before. We see it here for Bro. They're trying to use it. I won't be unhappy with that.
Yeah, and when Fate can TP top to catch the gold there, doesn't feel too bad when you have to commit a teleport for a fight like that, especially if you win it so decisively. If Paulo doesn't die, it feels even better.
Yeah.
As we're just kind of 3v3 in the bottom lane. Kingan.
Here we go. The barrels are going to land, and now the Slicing Maelstrom utilized. Has to try to get out of this one. Does Morgan, but the flash is in. One more Q could do it, and Kingan will shoot him down. takes down Morgan in a 1v1.
Orange is pretty strong. Having a gun feels pretty good. He's like, wait, he's a melee champion. I'm safe, right? Not when he parlays you to death. And he ends up taking you down there. Kingen does trade his flash for the cannons. And already, what was a pretty rough start to the lane has really turned around. Now he's got his Vert Treads online as well. So the GP is rushing towards Relevance. We're still a ways away from his big spikes, but see how this starts off is just decides to use the barrel chain here instead of clearing the minions.
He says, I think I got him.
잡았다.
And I got him.
빨개.
And he barely has enough, or barely is able to close the gap there to get that final Q. Bro's starting up this Herald without a ton of control. Showmaker on the flank top side.
Yeah, they also don't have Slicing Maelstrom here, as they're going to get the hook on a Moham, but immediately he's just going to turn and fight. DK are like, hey, if you want to fight right now, sure, let's go. We're ready to throw down. And the Swift Herald is just being toyed with, but it's just going to go the way of Lucid. Paulo goes in. He's very angry about that, but now he's just going to die. As now, Darrell will get the engage on it, and aiming is spinning around a million times a second, as finally we do have Morgan going in with the Slicing Maelstrom, but it's not quite enough damage. It's just a little bit lackluster at the very end. Some resets will come through for Young Jay, but he will be taken out as well. Another double kill for Showmaker. And man, DK, they said, you want to fight? Let's go.
Another scaling Zeri early. 5 kills for Showmaker. They pick up the eye, what was not able to be picked up in game 1. Don't even need it to take out this mid turret with a decisive team fight win that comes with the Herald. And so 2 turrets off the play before the eye is even dropped on the ground. And this setup here for Bro is just too rickety. You don't actually have control over this zone at all without the cannon ultimate. And Palu is hoping maybe he can lock somebody down. Hex Flash is in here, gets the grab and gets the ult. But the fight was never going to be you picking Lucid in this case. I think he was just super desperate there. And yes, the Slicing Maelstrom eventually does come off of cooldown, but you can't opt into contesting a Herald without that tool. If you have it, D+ can't make this play. They can't actually collapse in and get control because you can just zone them away. But if you don't have it and D+ are aware of that timer, they can absolutely with their very mobile comp. Fast Lilia, fast Zeri, spinning, aiming, as you mentioned.
He was spinning.
He was spinning
a lot.
And he was winning.
Yes.
And he was spinning in order to win. So
it did work out that way, yes.
Yeah. Spin to win.
Infernal Soul on the cards here. DK, once again, they say, okay, you want to fight? We have Showmaker with 2 items. He's 5-0. Do you really want to fight at this point as Bro? You don't have your spike for the Corki.
Yeah, and maybe Lucid goes, while you're thinking about it, I may drop a Herald in the bottom lane just to kind of speed along your thought process on that one. As Kingen does have this wave stacked up, Lucid waiting for his opportunity. There's the Herald. That'll tank the turret.
Yeah. He also can barrage the top lane. So he's just getting CS. He's going to go into the Rift Herald and smash into the turret. And Morgan just going to throw a Slicing Maelstrom in there, just desperate to try to survive. But the burn will come in. It's both GP and Lilia burns. And he just disappears, disintegrates into thin air.
Showmaker catches the wave up here. The top barrage did happen, as you mentioned, to help him out. So no cross map for Bro. So a turret, a dragon, and a farming Showmaker. 3 for 3, all 3 parts of the map that D+ were looking for there. They have 3 turrets in the bank. And we're soon to have aiming on 2 items. He is backing now. So 2 item, Zeri. 2 items, Samira. I think he's got enough. Nope, not quite. Just a pickaxe. Will be coming online fairly soon. Yeah, it's a much cleaner game than the last one.
Yeah. I mean, DK, they like to have their fun, but this time they spent a lot of time in the coach's booth, and I think that Zeppa probably just sat them down and was like, hey, you know, you guys won, but there's a lot of stuff we can improve on if we want to make this a bit cleaner. And they have done exactly that. Showmaker has a good idea that he is being dove. He's going to spot it as well.
No
There's
minions
wave.
yet. Yeah, it's coming over though. Morgan's ult is also coming up. They're gonna have to TP.
Yeah, TP comes in. The hook is gonna miss. Showmaker is gonna get ulted. Heartbreaker, but he's just living under the turret. Finally gets taken down by a shuriken. And now the turn does come in. Samber also super low, but they do trade onto Kingen as well. And it's a crazy, wacky dive. But it's okay for now for the side of Bro. Aiming, looking for the turnarounds here. As Youngjae will not be getting that one there. Lucid also around and trying to get this fight going. And trying to open up the space for Aiming as Lucid is incredibly low. In goes Aiming. Now he's going to hit that S rank and finally will get the spin onto Youngjae. And it looks like Morgan as well will be run down. The mobility of both the Lilia and the Samira just a bit too much at the end of the day.
And they had to use all their tools to actually dive Showmaker, so there's no way to peel for the Samira anymore. Great hook.
Well, yeah, Lucid just kind of running on in, and he is not going to be punished for it. This Lilia is just so slippery, you can't lock her down, even with the Nautilus. Very frustrating for Bro. And with the Baron spawning, they're just going to, well, do it.
Yep. And, I mean, he had to use his Hourglass earlier, but he's just so slippery, like you say. Even though the hook is fantastic, and he wasn't aware of it, they did have Moam nearby. And now Showmaker's back. And they're going to take Baron on spawn here. And this 6,000 gold lead is going to become 7.5 off of the Baron cap alone. And there's no outers to take, so we're getting deeper into the gold here as Morgan gets ulted by Showmaker.
Yeah. Takes a wee bit of damage, but Morgan has got some mobility himself. Will just zip away.
So there's no wave here, and they are like, we're just going to do it because this is too much time for reinforcements to come over if we wait for the wave, which I think is the right call. Showmaker is able to live so long, though, that they end up getting the first kill here. Morgan slicing Maelstrom is fantastic, and they're able to turn this into a big trade up. The problem is that Aiming shows up here. Then he also doesn't just run into all of Bro here. He waits for Lucid to come up, wants to set up his S rank. It's going to take time, right? So he's willing to sacrifice the turret, but he knows that they're on the wrong side of the map here. Can't really get out. It's not the best sleep we've ever seen off of a Lilia, but he can't lock Lucid down because he's too fast. And that just means that Aiming actually ends up splitting this team in half. There's more that goes on there than what we just showed, but the crux really was the time buy from Showmaker, and then Aiming's patience there as they rotate back in. And the lack of tools when he ults is the biggest problem. Silly game again a little bit.
Yeah, it's not as crazy as game one, but it's still silly in its own right. I think the Samira kind of adds a little cherry on top. A lot of circles, a lot of spinning rather when you look at the Lilia and the Samira together. As now, Youngjae, who's ganking who here? He's going to look for Lucid, and the sleep will come in. Lucid gets it onto a couple of guys. Youngjae is going to buffer out of that one. Here comes Morgan, but he is just going to be ulted and killed. So, good
Nice
effort.
flank.
Yeah. But that's about it. No more sleeps will come in, but a lot of damage from the Lilia. Now setting up the Samira. Nice ult here from Palu to deny that, but they have damage in heaps from the side of DK as Showmaker comes in on the flank, and Youngjae, he just abandoned ship.
Oh, you picked the Nautilus to ult the Zeri! And once again, CC is used on one target, and then the other target ends up cleaning the fight. This time it's not Aiming who cleans up house, but Showmaker. And with the Baron for 40 more seconds, this might be one of our faster games this season. They've got a cannon minion here. They are ripping these Nexus turrets apart.
Yeah, I mean, with the last bits of the Baron, it should be enough, but Moam is going to take the turret, and the death timers are very low, so DK just going to back out of here, play it safe. Shuriken hits Kingen, who is level 15 in this game, alongside a Lucid, actually, which is kind of crazy as the jungler. As we zoom out, you know, there's ward, but they're not going to do anything crazy. And DK just continue to get farther ahead.
This is a 31 kill game. You know, just putting it out there. As watch this ultimate coming through, only really catching the Nautilus, and then Morgan's on the flank. They turn on him and blow him up. Actually, the chain CC is so strong, he actually can't even slicing Maelstrom. And then Paulo is just like, all right, if we don't turn this, I think we might just get wiped if Showmaker slides over. They end up dropping everything into Aiming. He gets the knockup, so actually the cleanse is relatively low value here. But then Showmaker is still there, right? Like, you used everything to lock Aiming down, but Your team is half running away, half trying to stay in the fight, and it's just a messy one. Obviously, the wallets are quite heavy at this point. Like, I don't really need to explain the difference in stats between these the carries.
Please read out the gold numbers for us.
41.6 to 53.2.
Thank you. DK is very far. So now that is very obvious, Young Day is going to die, and well, DK, they give themselves another opportunity to boost their KDA, and they will get it. It should be a clean ace, although Lucid going to be boomed to smithereens. So will aiming, actually. Crazy amounts of damage coming out from Fate and Morgan, especially without the exhaust. Well, he poked him. That wasn't enough.
Yeah, we'll need the CC to stop the teleport, but you know, he's back at home being like, I don't know if I'm really helping. I don't know if this is actually really going to be enough to actually save the game. May buy some time, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's not able to clear the wave, and I think that is just going to do it. They go in onto Fate. They want 4 kills. There are a couple of guys alive, but if you just hit the Nexus, the game will end as King is having his fun, but it does not matter. GG, DK will take the 2-0 and secure 3rd place in playoffs.
Great series for D+. I think the first part, a little bit sillier than the latter part of the second half, but I think that they are succeeding in two parts, right? Beating Bro, guaranteeing 3rd place, but also not really showcasing any strategy or weakness moving to playoffs. I will say, Moam looking a little bit out of sorts today, a little bit exposed in terms of his coordination. Maybe he's also just having fun.
Oh, King in. I love the stare down.
Yeah. He said O2, so he's referring to Bro. Giving him the L as well. Damn. No, it's just for Lucid. That's what he does. That's his trademark.
Oh.
Showmaker gets a huge reaction for his as well.
Yeah. Wasn't quite the starfish celebration I was hoping for, but it's okay. Aiming does his patented peace sign. And it's, you know, all things considered, Boham, just feeling, you know, I'm here to represent the org.
Yeah.
Doing my best. He had some rough times, but he got better in game 2, I have to say. I think his positioning is getting better game by game.
No doubt. I do think there's still some synergy to be built, but I think you got to stick with this roster for playoffs, because if you swap back to Kellen, then you've got to start all over again. And again, Kellen's been very middling, very inconsistent. So I always want a champion when teams are willing to make bold choices to reach for greatness rather than settling to say, well, these are our weaknesses. I guess we're just going to deal with it. D+ had fantastic challengers roster for so long that was underutilized, and now they're utilizing it.
Yeah.
Both in hiring Lucid for this year, but also in utilizing Moham moving into playoffs, I think.
And also getting Thanatos. Wait,
Yeah, they didn't.
never mind.
They didn't do that part. That was the part we were.
Yeah.
A lot of people were calling for. I was more interested in them using Lucid last season, which they didn't do, but they used this season.
Yeah. Seemed like, you know, he needed a little extra time. Even when he came into the LCK, he wasn't 100%, but now he's definitely 100%. Had a fun game 1, I'll say, but his game 2 was extremely strong, and it's kind of Lucid we know and love nowadays. DK is just a very strong team. We knew this was a very one-sided matchup.
Yeah.
And, you know, they get the 2-0 in one way or another.
Yeah, D+ seemed to have the superstar to absorb the blue shell. I do think that this is what a lot of this week is going to look like for matchups that don't have playoff implications, don't have standings implications. This one technically did, in that it was D+ competing for 3rd place lock, as well as Bro trying to deny themselves 10th. But, you know, it felt like some happy gaming. It felt like a D+ Bro Week 9 game, and that's where we're at.
That is exactly where we're at. This is the last fight when DK were like 13k gold ahead. And they still lost 2 members. The rest of the team was like, we just pushed end, right? What? What? Why is he so strong?
Aiming is just like going on about, he's like, man, Kennen is real strong, by the way.
Yeah. You know, it did deny aiming some chances to farm at the very end.
Yeah.
As the Gold King.
I think he took it personally.
Yeah. Lucian's like, please just end the game.
타워요 형들.
Hit the tower, hit the Nexus.
1킬만 더 따자.
All right, down it goes.
Boam as well getting in there.
The last tower, so to speak, in Korean, you call the Nexus tower just to keep the comms clean on focusing Nexus turrets into the Nexus itself. Pretty even damage split here,
But
across the board.
Lord Morgan, #1 on the damage
True.
charts. He's going to go in there after solo queue came and be like, I did my part. My team wasn't there. Morgan did have a lot of ults onto people that were just diving his team, and the cannon did get some value, but it wasn't enough to get them the win.
No, sadly not for the Bros. Still sitting right now at the last place position. But D+ secured third. They will have the top seed for round 1.
Yeah, and the Giga Chads had a good time, which is always only what they're looking for. So guys, we're done here on the cast. Let's throw it over to the space to break down this series.
두 번째 매치죠. OK저축은행 브리온과
Thank you very much,
D+S의
guys. This
대결에서
is Jisun for the
D+S의
POG
승리를
interview
하면서
translation,
정규
joined
시즌
by the
3위를
solo POG of the
확정지었습니다.
Night
오늘
Showmaker
경기
on the side of
승리의
D+
주역 쇼메이커
Kia.
선수와 인터뷰 나눠보겠습니다. 승리 축하드립니다.
Congratulations on the win.
네, 쇼메이커 선수 오늘
Showmaker,
경기
with
승리를
today's
하면서
victory,
정규 시즌
D+
3위를
Kia
확정을
secured
지었고,
third
그리고
place in the
단독
regular
POG까지
season, and you
받으시면서
also earned a
POG
solo POG.
수백점으로 단독 2위에
Now that you
오르게
are standing on the second place on the POG standing as well, how do you feel?
오늘 이겨가지고 3위 확정지을 수 있어서
I am
너무
so
기분
glad
좋은
that
것 같고
DK
또
managed to
POG 도
secure third
많이
place
따서
with this win today,
좋았습니다.
and happy to
네,
pick up double
지난
POG as well.
팬분들께 2대0
In the previous interview, players mentioned that they all want to give the fans a 2-0 win. How does it feel to finally achieve it? I felt so bad because we were sending them home so late. So we always wanted to give them a 2-0, but finally we made it.
기분 좋으실 것 같습니다. 오늘 경기도 이렇게 승리를 하면서 1세트
So today, in the first game, Bros first picked Corky, and with a smile on your face, you immediately locked in LeBlanc. So I want to know what was happening when you were going with that pick. Because LeBlanc most likely gets target banned, so I was not expecting it to be let through. So I was like, maybe they're just gonna B1 LeBlanc, and then they did not. So we just picked LeBlanc with a lot of confidence.
바로 픽을 하셨군요. 1세트 상대가 탑 정글을 잡고
In game 1, there was a moment where the opponents were able to find 2 picks and then try to go for a Baron, but the damage carries on the side of D+ Kia managed to successfully kind of resist this. I mean, they did in the end take the Baron, but still, it was a teamfight victory for DK. So they already used a lot of their skills and abilities, and still, even though we were behind in numbers, we still had aiming and myself, who was already scaled a lot. So it was a bit of a risky situation, but we went for the play and we were able to kind of pull off the execution we needed. And after winning the first game, I heard you guys spent a long time for the feedback in the coach's booth. What was the main focus? So there were a lot of unexpected plays coming from the opponents in game number 1, so we wanted to look back at it and talk about it. And was that expected in game 2? Yeah, I guess so. And the drafting was pretty similar to game number 1. But game 2, we had Lilia and Zeri into Corky. What was the reasoning behind them? So, because we won the first game, we could stick to the exact same picks, but also we wanted to try out some new strategy as well. Then how was your first mid-Zeri game? Very fun, you know, Zeri, the champion, is very fun to play. Much better than LeBlanc that I play every single day. Then is it gonna be your new bias over Syndra? There's no way. And then, as a last pick on D+ Kia, we had Samira locked often after 371 days. What was the team strategy behind that? She has a really good synergy with Rel, and aiming also said Samira is looking really good, and you have to listen to him right now, you know. Because of his opinion, we thought it's gonna be an effective pick, and we went for it. And then we have this annoying maker, the global emote that represents D plus Kia over here. Tell us about this starfish. It kind of symbolizes you, right? Do I look like that? I mean, yeah, that's cute, you know. Very cute. I hope you guys all buy it.
좋습니다. 또 이렇게 컬러풀해지니까 또 귀여움이 한층 배가 되는 것 같습니다.
Very cute. Starfish that, you know, kind of represents D plus Kia and Showmaker. And D plus Kia, your final match of the regular season is the Saturday Showdown against KT Roaster. It is going to be another banger, right? We always end up having a very long, exhausting one up against KT Roaster, but now that we just got a 2-0 win today, I hope we can get another 2-0 in that match. Lastly, anything you want to say to the fans? With this win, we have secured the third place spot in the LCK regular season, but we want to make sure that we can keep moving forward throughout the playoffs. And this will be the end of the POD interview, and back to the space. Thank you.